This is Strum. Strum is a highly expressive sound strummer audio plugin made by Lese, with real-time tweaking of a lot of delay lines at once made easy. Strum is essentially a multi-band delay, where the delays are controlled at a high level by adjusting the factor band controls, which are present on other Lese plugins for controlling parameters as well. Most similarly in the case of Strum is sweeps factor bands, which are controlled in the exact same way. As I move around the handle here, you will notice that the delay lines get shorter and longer based on the vertical position of the curve wherever a delay line's band center frequency is located at. The vertical handle behavior can be changed with the flip button down here. This essentially just switches the default position of the bands so that you would be pulling them down to reduce the delay length as opposed to bringing them up to increase it. You can also change the way that the bands are distributed by adjusting the skew slider underneath the band controls here. Bringing it left from the center more densely packs the delay bands in the lower end of the spectrum, and bringing it right makes the spacing denser in the higher end of the spectrum. Note that as I change this value, the delay times will also track to their new points on the factor band curve. Flicking this blue switch here changes the factor band system over from the delay control to the feedback control. The maximum feedback isn't adjustable and is always at 0% at the bottom to about 95% at the top. The bands will be colored with the lines, as you see here, for a longer length as the delay time increases. So you get a good idea of how long the delays will be, even when you aren't in the feedback control mode. You change the maximum amount of bands with the bands knob here. This is pretty self-explanatory. When the maximum number of bands is changed, the other bands will remain smoothly spaced across the spectrum. As of right now, the max delay value is at 500 milliseconds. This is the maximum amount of time that the delays can work at when the curve is at the maximum value. If you adjust this, you increase the maximum time. Also, you can synchronize the max delay to instead be a stepped value that is synchronized to your host BPM. Additionally, the sync time division can be selected. Right now it's at a 16th note, but you can do a few different divisions as well. Note that when I bring it up to a 6th division, the delay bands will no longer track with the curve. This is because the real maximum amount of audio that delays can internally utilize has been reached. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to work in cases where you, for instance, have a low BPM, like right now. If the delay time is going on for too long, and you'd like to reset it, you can press the R button here to clear the internal audio inside all of the delay bands and reset everything back to silence, until you bring in new audio, of course. Moving on to the modulation section. Strum has the ability to slightly, or heavily, apply modulation to the delay times using two different methods, flutter and random. Flutter mode changes the delays in a cyclical fashion, smoothly increasing the value and decreasing it at a rate specified by the rate knob. Random mode changes the delay times in a totally random fashion, and the rate knob changes how heavily the random noise used to modulate the delays is filtered. Strum's delay lines are smoothly interpolating, so changing the delay time in this manner, and by using the factor band controls, has the delay time smoothly go from its original point to its new point, so the pitch of the sound held in memory will also change. This is the same phenomenon as how you can hear tapes go up in pitch if you fast forward them. The skew control for the modulation changes how the modulators work based on the delay band's frequency, linking the skew to the modulation amount and turning it up to the maximum, for instance. Makes the delay time modulation be much deeper in the higher bands, but less so in the low bands. Linking it up to the rate and turning it to the minimum makes the times go much faster in the low end, but hardly move at all in the high end. You can also link up both of the parameters at once to the skew if you want to. As of Strum 1.2, we have also introduced a Spectral mode. Clicking this button here swaps you from analog mode, which we are using now, to the Spectral mode. The Spectral mode uses an FFT to do the delays, so we can have a lot more of them than what we have available in the digital mode. A few hundred more to be specific. The only drawbacks are that you can't synchronize the delay length to the host BPM. You can't specify the number of bands, and that the modulation is no longer interpolating, i.e. the modulation is no longer affecting the pitch. You also can't adjust the skew of the modulators in this case. Thank you.